Doing it. Hi, my name is Athena Raven. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm here with Joseph Ally.
This is what happens when you transmit thoughts to each other. You end up saying each other's words and sentences and thinking that you are each other.
Yes.
But that's today's video. I'm not even going to bother editing that out. You know? I'm just going to keep that. I'm just going to keep it because this is just the ridiculousness of what our life is like from day to day. But I've been sharing in my videos that we were delving into and exploring a lot of next level manifesting stuff. So telepathy and thought transmission being very popular topics, and of course there's a lot of curiosity. Is it real? Isn't it? Is it just a fluke? Is it just one of those things that every now and again someone has a thought and oh, that person called you, you know, it was just a coincidence? Or what about when you're thinking you're humming a song to yourself in your mind, can't get out your head, and then someone else starts singing it? Oh, that was just coincidence again, fluke. Or is it? Is there more to it? We of course wanted to test this out and have been doing so, and I've actually been documenting it. Its influence, because as you know, I'm not that organized to strategically take notes of things, but you've been pushing me to do so, and it's good because I wouldn't have remembered everything that we've encountered otherwise. And so we're going to share with you in this video all our findings. Well, not all our findings because that would take forever, but I am going to do a series of these sorts of videos. So if you enjoy them, let us know. And those of you subscribed to this channel are going to be privy to a lot of information as it unfolds. Members of our Discord community have seen in real time a lot of these things unfold as well, particularly in our inner circle. My goodness. There's some crazy thing even yesterday, wasn't it, with, I won't mention her name. But
yeah. Should I just start off by, just crazy. This is the type of stuff. So first of all, I'll just say it's interesting in the sense that people who join the inner circle and who are present and actively are there, they don't even have to contribute, actually, a lot of times. They can just be present. But anyway, they're having these experiences just by being there. But this particular interesting thing is really crazy. This is from someone who has had a couple interesting things before, but I've been doing this practice, testing a practice, a specific meditation practice that involves visualization. And it's you actually may have heard of it. Some of you probably have heard of it before, and it's called the Inner Fire. But it's an Buddhist meditation called Tummo, T-U-M-M-O. And in that meditation, you are essentially within your stomach, and you're igniting fire and breathing fire and purifying yourself and all of this. And the effects of that are supposed to actually bring you more powerful or activate more psychic mind. And so that's actually the purpose of it. That's why I've been or one of the reasons I've been doing it. But so yesterday, I think it was towards the end of the mastermind, and she said, I said, does anyone else have anything interesting? I'm considering, it was getting late. We had been going on for a long time. And she was like, well, actually, I do have one thing. And she wasn't even going to say it. And she was like, yeah, I was in meditation yesterday and the day before. But yesterday, she said, when my eyes were closed, I suddenly felt heat in my forehead where my third eye area is. And I felt compelled to move my eyeballs up. So she actually felt this thought that she had to look up, even though her eyes were closed anyway. But as she looked up, she could see a bright flame, and she felt the heat from the flames. And then suddenly my face just emerged from the flames. And she said, I was in meditation, and her third eye was burning simultaneously from the effect and from the flames. So she
felt burning as well.
Yeah, she felt burning. Yes.
And I know, hon, you're no doubt you're watching this video, and I don't know if you wanted to share anything or any details in the comments, if you feel comfortable in doing so. But we've had many fascinating experiences like that. People have been connecting more with their psychic abilities. There's been a lot more telepathy and
mystical stuff,
experiences, and I don't know if it's been through a mix of the kind of things that we've been discussing in our groups, the fact that the community is very integrated, but it's good because it's allowing us to test on a wider level, not just between the two of us, but more in the community. And for those of you who are concerned about, oh, well, you know, would it work? Say someone you haven't met before or someone you've never met physically, could it still work? I have been testing that as well, and I can tell you it does. And I'll share with you an instant with regards to that. But first of all, a bit about thought transmission, because, you know, we were just discussing it before we were recording, actually, about, contrary to what many people are thinking about what it is, are we really sending messages to each other? Does that even make sense? You know, am I sort of thinking of something, I'm sending it over to you? I know I've imagined it like that a couple of times as we've been testing it. That's been one of my things I'll add in a visual, that I'll see an image in my mind and I will feel and see it sent. We've yet to find a method, by the way, that consistently every single time works. And we're still in experimental stages. And this is why we're also inviting you guys to hear about what we've done and also to test it for yourselves and to come back with your own theories, your own results. But we were saying about collectiveness and
I mean, you know, you gotta consider too, it's similar, I think, the preconceived notion is that we're sending, I'm laser beaming a thought to you or something, right? And it's getting flying through the air, and in some way, shape, or form it's going to land inside the mind of the other person. But this is a similar sort of corollary. There's a parallel to how, like, that's like a law of attraction corollary, where you're magnetically drawing in, right? There's a similarity in those sorts of concepts. And that stems from the, it's sort of a misconception that there are analogs between mainstream physics and manifesting. But yeah, as we were saying, you know, it's really consciousness. In other words, we're not sending or receiving anything, you know, just like we're not attracting anything. We're creating, or we are submitting to the conscious field that we are all a part of, right?
Exactly.
And then you're also chiming into that source and just observing. So I'm, you know, entering into the conscious field and imagining something with the sole intention of Athena experiencing it. And at the same time, Athena enters into the same shared space, that coherent space, and can just observe, and she witnesses what I'm imagining. So it's different, and it actually makes it more accessible, I think, because you don't have to worry about where you are, you know, when you are. None of that matters, you know.
Now there's no concern about separation when you think of it like that, because it's just one shared pool, one shared source, and we're extracting from that, because that's why there's been a few times as well. What's been interesting is Joseph had sent me, well, the intention was to send me the message, and someone else in our group received it, and she was like, who sent me an airplane? And she knew it wasn't her own thought. She knew it didn't belong to her. So that's another thing. There is something very different about the kind of thoughts and messages and images that you experience, which are coming from you, which are coming from projected from someone else.
Right.
So she knew essentially it wasn't hers, and she was like, who sent me an airplane? And you were like, oh my god, that was the image. Yeah.
And well, what's interesting, and there are patterns, by the way. There definitely are patterns, so you can try stuff as well, right? Like, it's not just guesswork at this point. We've gotten, you know, pretty deep into this. But yeah, in this case specifically, the reason, so interestingly enough, I meant to send it to Athena, and what I did was I drew it in my mind. And when I drew it in multiple angles. Now I have like this really elementary way, like childish way too, of drawing airplanes since I was a child, right? So in my mind, I'm just drawing this airplane. And that was what she said. She's like, I saw an airplane. It was drawn though, and it was up on an angle. It was the exact image. Yeah, the exact image, you know? So that's the shared pool of our group though. That it makes sense, right? I'm not sending it. It's an available image. It is available to access.
And do you think that's why actually then that we've been experiencing it a lot more with our group?
Yeah.
Although I have been experiencing it with outside, like I've been testing it on friends that I haven't spoken to in ages, where I thought, you know, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in a year. I wonder how they're getting on. I better send them a message. I'll get a feeling that I know that they've received it. and then I leave it and it's done. And literally each time it's been like literally the next day I have heard something. I have no resistance to it, no issues with it. It's literally being with an open, playful heart. And you know how I always say about no matter what you're manifesting, do it with an element of childish playfulness. You're just exploring, you know, you're not doing it to try. Anytime that we have tried too hard, it hasn't worked.
Doesn't pan out.
We got to a point where we were testing it quite a bit, and if we weren't in the right mindset and we felt a bit of pressure or whatever, it just didn't happen.
It wouldn't work. It didn't happen.
You know,
so that pressure, that awareness, that conscious trying, and that there's like a fine balance. You know, there's like you want to bring forth this image, but it is not with intention to send. I think that really is this send. Like that is ineffective. That has never worked properly for us. You know, but not to say you've
not
had
with force, not with
right,
force,
not with force.
But in
exactly,
my mind,
not with pressure.
I have had the experience of there it is, and I've sent it.
Yeah.
But it's been a very sort of just a light, not a please God receive it, please, you know.
Sure.
It's been more kind of just let me just feel it, let me feel that it's left me, essentially.
Right.
Maybe that's a bit different. It's like, let me just feel that it's left me.
And then there's different ways to experience as well. Like the way that you seem to sometimes witness the psychic visions are much different than I will witness the psychic visions as well, right? There's multiple ways is what we're kind of discovering, right?
Yeah,
some is like piecemeal, like I think this is the most popular way, is like what was happening when I sent you the scissors.
Yes.
Right. What happened? Do you remember?
So you stood behind the couch, wasn't it? And you had on your electronic notepad drawn an image of scissors.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then you put a square around it. I don't know why you did that. So I didn't receive the scissors.
Just to isolate it from the rest of the page.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, because there was text that I was, because I journal. So it was just, an isolated, yeah.
So you just came in one evening and I was just relaxing, doing whatever. And
off guard, completely off guard, by the way.
Completely caught me off guard. And I was just like, oh, what is this? So literally that came in quite fluidly, but I didn't get that it was scissors.
Well, I said, what is this? I said, I've just drawn something. What did I draw? And I did not show it to her. And that's
Yes, I sat with it and literally quite quickly, I started to say, like circles. I could see circles, which was the handles, which I didn't realize. I was saying I could see lines, but it was like at an angle. And I said, it's not quite a right angle. It's more like a 45-degree angle or something, which was the V of the scissors. 45
is a right angle.
Is it?
30. Maybe 30. We'll go 30.
Did I say 40?
I'm the math guy. Yes.
I'm not.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not into maths. I'm more psychology. Okay. And then what was the other thing?
Square.
I saw the square. So it was like I was piecing it together. Now, some of you actually, because like I say, it's not just been, the experiences have not just been isolated to the people in our group. I think we're experiencing a lot more with them because we're all exposed to each other more as well, and there's a lot more of a feedback loop going on. But it has been filtering out to some of you guys, and I have been receiving some of your emails where you said you saw my live and you were inspired by the fact that we were testing it. Someone had said she had sent the images to a friend of hers, another one tried it with a relative, and similarly it was like receiving the image in piecemeal. And we have witnessed that in some documentaries as well that we've watched too, some psychic documentaries that have explored this, that have said they've seen it in pieces. So some of you probably know what we're talking about. So that's how it tends to come in for me. Not always though.
Not always.
When you sent me the spoon, he sent me a delayed. That was the delayed message.
It was like a mail, like psychic mail.
We were just eating dinner and we were out at a restaurant and you just said, I'm going to
send, I'm going to send you a message as you walk away to the bathroom, to the toilet, as you Brits say. And
toilet. This smells of French. That's what the French say. We say loo.
Lou. You don't say Lou.
Yeah,
anyway, you barely ever. I think I've heard you say that once. Ever.
What do I say?
So anyway, So anyway, I said, I'm going to send you something. And as she walked away, I imagined a spoon. And then in my mind, I said, she receives this later. That's what I internally commanded myself. Now, this is I think it's an acquired skill, the ability to command and confidently do that. You can practice that. I do that with everything, by the way. But I just knew that was going to be the case, or at least I expected it to be the case. And then what happened? Later, that's right. Later,
very much
when
later,
we were in bed about to go to sleep, you said to me, send me a psychic message. And I said, okay, but I just sat there. I didn't send you anything on purpose because I wanted to see if that would be the time. And that was when you said, is it a
spoon?
Yes.
And the thing is, it wasn't just there, because the spoon that he had sent me was a bent spoon. But
yes.
I didn't see, in my vision, it was a spoon intact, but I had like the name Uri Geller. Now, for those of you who don't know Uri Geller, he was very famous for bending spoons. And so for me, that was kind of my connection, that this was a spoon that was being psychically bent or something. So it was like my interpretation of your image, and that can happen as well too. So these are sort of the different things that we've been doing and how we've been sending it. You know, you can have an image in your mind and think, right, I'm sending this later, like Joseph was doing, like a delayed message. I've had it where I've had, you know, images in my mind and stuff that I've just seen crystal clear. And like I said, I sort of almost breathe into it and I just feel like it's released. I feel like it's gone, it's left me, and it's going to be received.
I've had, for me, it's mostly always a complete image, a complete picture. In fact, I don't know of any other way that I've ever like seen this before. So for me, and it's interesting, like when Athena will send me an image, and I remember once very clearly it was the cat, it even appeared, so I was laying on the bed, and at first I just was like, I knew I wasn't really there, right? I wasn't really in the state, but I tried, and as my recollection goes anyway, and I tried and nothing really happened, but then I saw, like, as if I'm looking at you right now, like in this general vicinity, the image appeared right here. And it was of a cartoon, and it was very vivid and it was very complete. And at first I could not make it out because I was looking, it's like at my peripheral. And I had to turn my inner vision down to the left. And that was when the image became crystal clear in the exact way that she had sent it to me.
Yeah, so the image is weird. The psychic image, or the telepathic image, whatever it is, it's kind of like deeper in the recess of your mind, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm not seeing it here, like when I close my eyes and I can, you know, I'm trying to see something still with my eyes and it's all black. It's deep in the recess here. And it just feels different.
Yep.
It can be quite vivid.
Yep.
It is quite vivid.
Yep.
Each time I've had it, actually, I must admit, it's been quite vivid. Whereas my imaginal acts are not normally like that. They can be quite hazy.
That's so important to note as well, because I think people will be confused generally and try to imagine what to see. So like when receiving an image, I think the natural response is to try to guess what's, it's like almost try to imagine something. But it's supposed to appear, and it will generally appear somewhere else. You'll feel it somewhere else, and it will be generally more vivid, you know? I know for me, this one interesting thing I did was I drew a random card, and I put I had a blindfold on, and I put my hand on the card, and I held it there, and I said to myself that I see what's on the card. And I saw a very, so it took me about 3 minutes straight, like a whole 180 seconds of waiting probably. But then it just appeared in a flash, vibrant, took up my entire vision. And it was, in my mind at first, I thought it was a doorway. And I actually, because it took so long, I just discounted the whole thing. But what's interesting is when I took off the blindfold and I looked at it, there was a card, and then on the top corner was a windowsill that was pushed in all the way exactly like a doorway. But that was what I saw. But what was interesting about that is according to the picture itself, it was only this big, but when I witnessed it, it was a massive doorway. So I had somehow, or it was really a sill. And so it was like my psychic, telepathic ability or vision really honed in past the point where you can see. You can't see that clearly, right? So your vision is super powerful. It just has to be honed in, the psychic vision. But there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I think one thing, because you brought up the group. So like what I notice about our group specifically, so we both do a different group each, right? So this is relevant for a reason. So we have 3 groups, one that we do together, that's our Q&A, that's live on Tuesdays. And then we do our more personalized, specific, close sharing, more intimate sort of stuff.
Yeah, those are the workshops we do.
Right. So the mastermind.
This is through the Discord.
Through our Discord. And what's interesting is it appears to be that over the course of time, and whether that just means it's a couple weeks, a month, people automatically, when they attend, some in just the Q&A, more commonly in our private groups, right, they just start naturally having these experiences. And so I believe the fruit, and this isn't just my theory, but I see this now really, really clearly, is the fruit of accurate understanding of the world, or spirituality per se, right, of God, of our manifesting power, is the fruit of that should naturally be a psychic awakening. You know what I mean? So if you're not experiencing any sort of psychic activity at all, if you're not having, synchronicities, or you're thinking something and the song comes on the radio, first of all, it's actually probably because you're not recognizing it, right? But as the accuracy of the teachings that you participate in seem to be more clear, or the more you utilize them, or just are present there. Some people don't even contribute, right? I had a woman in my group, and if she's watching this, she'll know. She wasn't even someone who really thought about, or I don't want to say believed in, but just didn't even really care to think down that avenue.
Herself
right?
At all.
No spiritual, mystical,
Nothing.
That sort of thing. And all I did was talk about something very mystic, right? Super, super psychic, powerful, mystic thing. Like there's something called the Om, right? It's the secret tone of the universe that exists all the way within. And since the beginning of recorded history, people have heard that Om or tone, and each person also has their own. Again, this very obscure, right, very, very strange thing. And even most of you listening to this are probably saying, what are you talking about? Right. But just being present that very night, it awoke inside of her, and she had that experience. And the next day she went in the chat and talked about it.
She had a mystical dream or something, didn't she? Or some sort of vision of you, wasn't it? Was it her?
No, I'm talking about, she had the robotic voice, the metallic voice.
Yes.
So she was awake, and she just heard the metallic voice. No.
I thought she heard that in a dream. Share, hon, if you're watching as well, if you want to, because it's these sorts of things that we've been experiencing quite a lot. There's so many we could share with you. Obviously, I'm going to do a series, like I said, to share more and what we've been doing. So in this, obviously, we've shared a couple of methods that we've used. Very light, very easy, that you can all test yourself. Like I say, where you either see an image in your head and feel it, that it is sent in as much detail as you want to. In fact, people who have emailed me with their telepathic success stories, some of them have even said they looked online to access a picture of what it is they wanted to send as well, for additional accuracy and assistance in picturing the image. You can do that too. Just be experimentative with this, okay? Don't be rigid, just be open-minded with it, and just be open to sending and receiving is essentially what I've in my shower scene of my passive imagining. I have imagined and embodied the fact that I am, my psychic abilities are awakening, my telepathic skills are going through the roof, and I've been experiencing it more and more as a result of that general assumption. So you can take that on generally. But literally the things like I've been talking quite a lot to Joseph in my head. And I've mentioned it before, where I was just like, I ordered ice cream. I've done it a few times now. And you've just been like, and again, it's like weird times. It's like 1 a.m, randomly, you're thinking you're about to go to bed. And he's just like, do you want ice cream? And it's like, yes.
Multiple times.
That's what I've been.
This has actually happened multiple times.
Not good for the diet, but you got to have ice cream. So I've been doing that, but not just with him. I did it as well with a client of mine who I'd never met before, brand new client. You know who you are, darling, if you're watching. And whilst I was in the shower, I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I'm running really late. And I said to her in my head, you know what? I think we're going to have to. And it was very like matter of fact. I didn't feel like I better do an imagine. I better do a telepathic message. It was literally like an inner talk, I suppose. And I just really felt myself saying like she heard me. And I was expecting her to hear me as I was asking her, listen, do you mind if we postpone the session by a couple of hours? In which case I got a response there and then that, yes, she's fine with it. So when I messaged her, she was like, oh my God, yes, that works out even better. I was going to ask you, like, it's perfect. And I was like, oh my goodness, you heard my message. And I tapped into her quite a bit, actually, because I'd done a video earlier that day as well. And apparently the date that I mentioned in the video was her birthday. There was a couple of other things. Oh yes, I had some feelings in my body that was indicative of her.
Oh, right.
I was just like, oh my God, it's like I embodied you before the session. It was very, very strange again. So try that with a general assumption of tapping into your psychic abilities. Use images if you want to help you with, sending an image. Send it to a friend, send it to someone who knows you're doing it. Send it to another person who doesn't know. Just keep testing it and keep a log of it as well. And like I said, there's much more to share with you guys, and I'll share them in next videos. I'm thinking as well, and the inner circle, another experiment we're going to do is I've been conducting hypnosis with the inner circle as well, which I don't know if that's also, a lot of them have tapped into quite a few things, and some of them have had quite profound experiences through the hypnosis, almost like mystical in some, what you would call mystical, psychic, just intense experiences. So I'm going to be doing them more regularly, and I'm going to do like a series of telepathy-based hypnosis with the group. And they're going to be my test subjects. So we're going to see what results we get from that, and I will report it back to you guys.
I've created the group this morning.
Oh, you did the telepathy room?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we've got telepathy room on the Discord, so we can actually log everything as it comes in and share with you. And the method that we find the most useful, that works each time, we will share. But at the moment, it's been a bit of a trial and error.
Testing
trial and error stages. So we wanted to share this with you so you can grow with us, you can test it for yourself, you can progress. And I might do some telepathy hypnosis on here too that we can do together too, if you guys are interested in that. Let me know.
I was thinking too, you mentioned about testing, and one of the features of the app that I'll be releasing. Yeah, so I don't know how much to share because it's still, I wanted to have a proper launch and surprise, but
this is what Joseph's been slaving away at relentlessly for
a while,
for quite
at least
long
a day,
time.
At least a day. Yeah, but there will be a how would you describe it? It would be like, there's going to be a centralized location for testing, right? Obviously.
Would you call it like a Facebook feed of results?
Right, it's like a Facebook
it's going to be like a Facebook
for manifesting. For results, for tracking, for watching when people get their signs, their bridges unfold, tracking the things that they do when they imagine, when they come up with the desire, the thoughts that they have, the things that they witness. It's going to be a very honed in, focused way to test manifesting. And the reason why this is, like, if none of you have seen my channel specifically, it's always been based upon my experiential, my systematic testing, right? I've been keeping track of my manifestations since 2011, literally jotting them down, exhaustive information and data. And so those common denominators is what I use to teach, right? That's what I use to manifest. But for the sake of being able to have the average person build their confidence up, use this app, they can It can really build their trust in the process. They can watch what other people are doing. They can post their successes. I mean, revolutionary. And that's just one tiny aspect of the app, actually.
Right.
There's so much
I
more
mean,
to
yeah,
it.
it's huge. The amount that this thing can do. Obviously, I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm not even going to begin to explain it to you guys right now.
Yes. And I'm not going to either.
Essentially, I mean, as you know, you guys.
AI is a thing now, right?
Myself and to Joseph.
Yeah.
You're going to be privy to this as it unfolds anyway. You're going to be the first to know. It's going to be exclusive to to you guys. First dibs.
Yeah, first
and
dibs,
all that.
yes.
And this way as well, you kind of extract what is the process. What can we say is like tried and tested over and over and over again that works every time. It's going to build up a lot of faith and confidence. Can you imagine what that will be like? That's why we're doing this with the telepathy now. We want to find a process or system that works for everyone each and every time, the easiest, the less effort, and what's the patterns here, but there is so much more to share, and we will do some more videos on this, but we'll leave it here for now so that you're not feeling overwhelmed.
We can next time maybe tell them about the energy ball visualization and what that did to you.
And the stuff that you did to me, yeah.
Anyway, next time.
As dodgy as that sounds, but you can affect people physically.
From a distance with your mind. Let's say that.
Yeah. That was mad. Like I said, the Discord folk know about it. They can share, but I'll share that as well in another video. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Loads of love to you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.